Hey, hey, welcome again to another episode of Cardboard Conversations. I'm Pat, and we've got Bob here tonight, along with who's that buddy you brought with you there?
Hey, it's my buddy Chris Cox. He's got my back,
Oh, geez, look at that. Well,
especially
hey,
this
at
week,
least he's
firing 20% of his employees.
I was gonna say, at
I
least he's
trust you,
supporting
Chris.
one Magic the
I trust
Gathering
you.
player.
Feels like he's supporting One Piece and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and just about any other IP other than his own.
Yeah, I've actually heard One Piece is popping off a lot lately, but I also have heard that it's mainly due to scarcity, that there's just not a lot of the product available.
Well, I think that is a play for a game, right? I think that is a play for a game. I think that's what Sorcery needs to do, to be quite frank. I think the same thing with Cryptic. Things that are clearly not, taking the gaming world by storm. You know what I mean? Like a Lorcana can take the gaming world by storm. I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it. Actually, I've been saying it for a long time. It is a Disney IP, right? That just this
Hey, what up, Tortoise? Hey, Prime, thanks for
this
joining us this evening.
looks appealing on a shelf to so many people that other games just won't reach. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I hate to say it, but that hanging on a hanger will get snatched up by somebody who has no idea what the fuck this is.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. One Piece? You think a granny's going to walk by and go, oh, One Piece, let me grab that.
Right, yeah. And I think that that's one of the big selling points for Lorcana is how generational it is as well. Multi-generational, excuse me.
Pokemon has some
Is
of that
that,
appeal. I don't
you
think
know,
Pokemon, people
people
say it's
between
the
the
most
ages
recognizable
of,
brand.
1 in 100 are familiar with most of those characters. If not, at least with the branding, they, can get close enough to knowing that the product is something someone would enjoy.
Well, I mean, Pokemon does have a very big draw compared to so many other games out there. I mean, we have to acknowledge that, but they do print the
What up,
shit out of
brother?
things. In case you haven't seen it, Pokemon cards, by and large, except for the super duper flashy, uber pooper, super rare, I don't worth shit. Like, their cards are literally more worthless than like Magic cards.
Oh,
And they
geez.
print a shit ton more than Magic.
Yeah, and they sell them in a lot of places as well. I know I see them at the dollar store along with Yu-Gi-Oh cards there as well. They've definitely got a pretty wide market.
So it does have a draw. I mean, we have to acknowledge that. I don't know how big One Piece is really going to be. When we say popping off, that's sort of been something we, in my opinion, need to get away from as a community. Is don't really, and I've been trying. Give me credit here on the channel, folks. I've been trying to say with Lorcana, don't look at it as a game to pop off, go to the moon, and make your millions on. Let it gel as a game. Help it get off the ground. Play it some. I got Richie Dubs, who wants me to try a spell table game with him now that he has some starter decks. I told him sure when we get some time.
Yeah, I'm sending his deck out on Monday, actually, getting that package put together. And tomorrow I'm going and playing some Lorcana in person with one of my friends. He's never played before. He's never actually looked at any of the cards. So it'll be a nice, fresh experience for him and also for me to get to play in person for the first time. So I think that that's really what a lot of these games need, is that in-person play. That's what's going to keep them sticking around. And that's probably why Flesh and Blood has done as well as it has already, is because of the in-person play, the flesh and blood, experience.
And that part of Lorcana is sadly missing. I mean, unless any of you have a healthy community out there with Lorcana, which I doubt, because the product support just hasn't been there. The product's just not available. The scalper flippers have just been desperately snatching it up off the shelf.
Now that we're seeing it in a lot of big box stores, a lot of the larger reprint waves, like you had shown, those blister packs, those are rather readily available. And same thing with a lot of the starter decks. I know when I go down to my store, they're almost always there.
Nice. Not mine. Not here. Uh-oh. Did my camera die?
Yeah, you look frozen.
Oh, somebody's trying to call me. I bet it's Sherry Vegas. I'm using my phone for a camera, folks. I'm so professional. I'm so good at this YouTube thing, it hurts. But I think Lorcana hasn't had that opportunity to breathe yet. I think given time and sufficient quantities of product, it will. I went to go pick up dinner this week, and I was out with Sherry Vegas, and I'm like, hey, we're right across the street from the LGS. Let's stop in real quick. And so I went in there and I bought 2 boxes of Lorcana because he had them there. And then we just had like a 5-second conversation. He's like, I was asking him if now that he's getting some product, is he going to have some tournaments and play in store? And he says, will you come? I'm like, yeah, I sure will. But he wants to do it on a Wednesday night. I'm like, I'm an adult with a real job. Like, that's a like weeknights are tough, dude. I got family to feed. I got work that I got to get done. So I'll try. But when it finally gets to that rotation where it's taking a weekend slot, you know what I mean? Where the LGSs have drafts that you can come in weekly and pick up product for the most recent set. Hopefully by the what's the new Return to the Inkwell or whatever. We should post that up here for people who don't know.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it yet, folks, the 3rd set has been announced for Lorcana, and they're going to introduce a new card type. So if you have played, it is a location card, which is nobody knows what it's going to do. And I'd like to talk about that tonight. I would love for the audience to get involved with this. And let's talk about location cards and what we know about them from other games that we play. I'd like to get to that. So put your thinking caps on that one. They're going to introduce a new card type called landscapes, right? Think of it as a location from like Star Wars Destiny, maybe, or whatever else you guys can come up with. What do you think the new landscapes will be? Will it be like a planescape kind of card? What will it be? But it's called Into the Inklands.
This is looking like it's going to be an interesting addition. That's one of the things that, as I was discussing with Matt one of the other days here. Oh, hey, look at this.
Oh, look at that.
I think this is the first one we've seen.
That. Can you blow that up more? Can you like full screen that and for my blind ass to see? What does that mean? Do you attack it like what are those called in Magic? What are the ones in Magic?
Interesting.
That is true. He's got my back. I got cocks on my back. I wonder what that 1 means. So clearly it's a 2 casting cost, 2 ink casting cost. And look at it, it's inkable.
It's got a 1.
I wonder if all the locations are going to be inkable.
So it's 1, 6, and 1 lore.
Does that mean, interesting. I wonder if that means while it's there, it automatically generates 1 lore. But what is the 1? Is that lore generation, maybe?
Well, that it's also got the lore symbol in the bottom right-hand corner. Separate.
I wonder if that's like damage, static damage that it does if you attack. I wonder how this is going to play out. But that would be cool. Hey, now he's got all of our backs.
I think I figured it out. Okay, so
all right, hit us with it.
2 is the casting cost, and it's inkable. That's pretty standard. We got that right off the bat. My belief, every turn,
toughness.
Every turn, bottom right-hand corner, we see the 1 lore, the diamond-looking pip thing.
It's a different pip symbol, though, right? That's not the same as the standard pip symbol, right? For lore.
We'll compare that. Bigger? I think that every turn it will create that many. If there are multiple symbols there, it'll be that much. So for this, it's 1. Every turn of yours, it'll generate 1. To the left of the name of Forbidden Mountain, that 1 symbol is anything that attacks it takes 1 damage. And
I'd imagine that's what it is, but that lore, the lore symbol is different.
Okay, and the 6 on the right-hand side is how much it takes to defeat.
The standard lore symbols are empty in the middle of it.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely. You can see
right
here.
Very curious. I mean, that's cool, but the nice thing is what it shows us is that they're not afraid to already start to, like what Matt was concerned about, that the game was simple. But if you played Magic back in the early day, it was pretty simple too to begin with. And it got far more complex as time moved on. And this is showing that they're not afraid to start adding new elements to the game. And I think that that's a good thing to make it more complex. And I worry, if they make it too complex to be, I know a lot of people are going to poo-poo on me for this, but I think it needs to be an approachable game, right? It needs to be quick. It needs to be approachable. It needs to be easy to wrap your head around the concepts. I think, especially if you're targeting, 8 years old and up?
Yeah, 8+ is what it says on the packs.
So, if it can get some breathing room and get some legs underneath it, I think it'll, honestly, I think it I don't even think it's begun. Like, all these people that are already like, oh, it came and went. I'm like, I don't think it's even started yet.
I don't believe so. And I think that the box prices being notably lower than they were 2 or 3 months ago is absolutely fine. And I
think it's
believe that
absolutely
one of the
needed.
biggest things is just, getting them out there so people can open them, play them, make decks, have drafts. That's going to be one of the biggest things to actually get sustainability into the game.
Hot take. I honestly said it right from the rip, even prior to us going to Gen Con. I'm like, they're already expensive for 24 packs at $150. That's a pretty steep price point. Like, it just right out of the gate, that's steep already. That's an expensive box to play. Because if you think about it, right? Are you familiar with the draft format rules?
Yeah.
I will get back to your comment there if you want to highlight that from Tortoise about Magic being complex, and I'm gonna cheer on Commander Raids. I think Commander Raids is the approachable format for Magic, but we'll get back to that. But I think that the drafts are 4 packs. I haven't done a draft yet in Lorcana. I want to try that at the LGS. That'll be my suggested thing. I do not want to go in with precons because that just gets sweaty, and I don't mean precons with. Well, I mean, I don't want to go in with constructed decks. I don't want to go in with a tournament type. I don't think that'll be that healthy for your LGS. I think they need to do like starter deck plus packs sort of format or draft format, right? Because it's just going to get sweaty and meta real fast, right? Especially if there's prizes involved. So I would like to not really see prizes involved other than participation points. And I don't really want to see net decking and the same 3 decks every time. That'll make it really unfun to go to your LGS real quick. And then adults with more money will just blow the kids out of the water.
The draft experience, I think that will be definitely where a lot of the excitement is for people when they're going out and playing this game. I
think they need to have it. Well, I mean, or sealed. Just let's say sealed experience, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Right. Not constructed. There needs to be ultimately a constructed, tournament style, elimination tournament circuit, if you will. I don't even know if there really needs to be, but I feel like there needs to be. I think people want that, right? There's a lot of sweaty players.
Definitely fill a certain place for people. And when Magic lost that, I think that they lost a certain crowd as well. And
sure,
it's
I think
not
Flesh and Blood kind of
but
fills that at the moment. I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of those players kind of did transition to that Flesh and Blood circuit.
And and that's the thing is, as Commander seems like it's an easy thing for people to get into, it really isn't, because it's some of the most complex cards and combinations thereof when people are playing. It's 100 unique cards, more or less, outside of lands, but there are just so many new cards for players. And I think that Superfast is definitely, pointing that out. And at least with, Commander Raids, it's not so adversarial. So you don't have to balance that portion of playing Magic.
Well, and I mean, you bring up a very good point, but there's 2 very, very different reasons for people playing Commander Raids and playing Commander. Right? Honestly. Commander Raids is built, designed, intentional to be more approachable and less salty to play. It's meant to be a collaborative effort. It's not meant to be punch your lips off, right? And that's not a welcoming format to go into a very sweaty, and when I say sweaty, for those of you who don't understand that term or the way that I'm using it, people that are trying very hard, no matter what the reason is, even if there's no prizes on the line, to go in and just beat the living shit out of whoever they're playing against and don't care how the experience was for the other people at the table. Right?
And
They're there for themselves to win.
I don't be ashamed, to say that you're playing other games because you're having more fun doing it. I think that that's absolutely healthy, and for the long-term enjoyment of Magic for you might do well with a break. I know for me, when I was playing games all the time and we were doing some of the early design process for Commander Raids, I was getting a little bit burnt out, so much Magic the Gathering. And, getting back into Baldur's Gate and some Farming Simulator 22 has made it that much more enjoyable when I do play games of Magic. And
I gotta
I
say,
gotta
this makes
say,
me happy.
right now I'm pleased to see that there's a bit of a break in Magic's release schedule. How is that? Olaf? Yeah.
Come on. That's got to make you. It makes me happy. See, even Chris Cox is smiling.
I never saw Frozen, but one of the things I am excited for is the Into the Inklands set for Lorcana is going to have some characters from Tailspin and DuckTales as well. So some really cool creatures coming up, great characters that are going to remind me of my childhood in the 90s. So looking forward to that.
I'm glad you had fun, Solar God. I mean, and that's what games to me are supposed to be. I know Matt doesn't like that concept's beyond him. The games are supposed to be fun.
Well, I think that Matt has fun with games. It's just a different way to have fun.
I don't know that fun is necessarily part of it. I think he satisfies a need, but I won't say that it's even necessarily fun. I would say he does it because it satisfies something in him.
He garners enjoyment from it.
I wouldn't say it's fun, right? I would say he does it to satiate some innate desire to feel superior to others. I hate to say it, but that's really what it is. He's got this superiority complex.
He's certainly competitive.
And I'm not saying that to bash him. I'm just saying, from an antiseptic, just watching him play every game, it's got to be optimized. If it's not optimized, he was complaining last week that we were on? He's saying that, well, you and I play Diablo in very different ways. I can't stand how slow you go through the game. Like, I'm like, okay. You don't have to min-max every second of every moment of every game. How about just, enjoy it? It's like fishing, Sometimes even if you don't catch a fish, it doesn't fucking matter.
That,
you weren't working. You were on a boat, on the water.
He was just pointing out in a certain way that, you definitely do interact with it differently. And I see that when I play certain games with people. The times where I've done multiplayer Minecraft, for example, the way that people play Minecraft can be so varied. If you're trying to take advantage of entity cramming or maxing out enchantments and stuff like that, if you're doing, crazy flying machines and shit, there's all sorts of different ways to play games. And it's, not good, bad. It's just indifferent. It's just as long as you're enjoying it, if you're getting something out of it, then that's all that you need, right?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it was bad with Matt, right? I'm saying the differences. Like, for example, even with Commander Raids, that Matt was a very integral part of creating. Ed, I really need to watch your video today. Somebody else talked to me about it, but I haven't quite caught it. Was it worth it? And in one word, no. But when Matt told us, remember, it was just you, me, and Matt. And he goes, well, even in Commander Raids, which is cooperative, we win together. I think Pat totally gets that. I get that. Yeah. Matt goes, well, if I didn't get the killing blow, then I don't feel like I won.
Yeah. No, that was definitely like a thing that
is the superiority complex I'm talking about. He has to be at the top of that heap. And that's what I'm saying. He doesn't play games for fun, right? And I think that to a great degree, many games are 100% dependent on having fun. Now, some of them, Magic is a competitive, almost a sport.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mental sport. It's like chess, right? And you don't play chess just to have fun. You play chess to win. It's not a game that I play at all. I get it. And And there are people that, they optimize their moves. I'm kind of surprised Matt doesn't play it. And there are many competitive people out there that I absolutely adore. My best friend is very competitive. Nikachu is extremely competitive. Matt is very competitive. And, I slept in the same hotel room with that guy. I took a vacation with him out to Vegas. I clearly like Matt very much. But I was trying to point out that there are different strokes to different folks, even within the same arena. I think that kind of helps our channel too. I think that the three of us definitely have very different vantage points to the same environments.
Oh yeah. And Tortoise, I think it's a great point that Pro Tours could almost
hit the like, people.
Yes, yeah. Smash that like button, y'all. Don't forget to click the share. Let your friends know that you're hanging out with some cool dudes.
And light something on fire.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, don't light anything on fire.
Sometimes you can give in to the voice in your head. But the Pro Tour circuit was a huge thing for Magic, getting people to.
It was, and was it there at times? It's been exciting,
and also there were some great giveaways and stuff that they did that went along with it. Not just the merch aspect of it, but they had judge promos. That entire arena of cards was something very different, really collectible because of their absolute rarity. Along with that, they did like the commemorative decks. They had world championship decks. That was just a cool idea. People would go and see people play Magic in person and win prizes, get some real money out of the deal. And I think that's one of the reasons why Flesh and Blood has such a competitive circuit, is because people are actually able to take a flight, go to Shanghai, play Flesh and Blood for a weekend, win a few $1,000s. That's enticing to people. If Lorcana can have something like that, hey, go to Disney World, play Lorcana for a weekend, get your hotel comped, bring your family. Yeah, people would absolutely flip over that kind of an opportunity.
Well, to answer the super fast question, WotC can't get bigger than Hasbro because it's a subsidiary of Hasbro. If you mean bigger than all the other entities, because it's bigger than any other entity they have, but it's not bigger than all of their entities combined. However, it doesn't matter. I did want to address this. This has been like a big conversation, and I'm seeing lots of other big YouTubers. And do you guys want Bob's take on this? I'll give you Bob's take on this.
Hot takes.
I don't even know that it's necessarily a hot take, right? It's
hot takes. Hot takes. Hot takes. Hot takes.
Hot cakes. Hot takes. But people mention all the time, what about WotC spinning off from Hasbro? Let me just tell you, that's not going to happen, right? This is like a 4-engine aircraft. We'll just call it that for Hasbro. And the only engine that's still working and driving this ship forward is WotC. Why would they sell it? It's the only thing keeping the rest of the company afloat. If you sell off WotC, you may as well just close down Hasbro. What would be the point of selling it off? It's not going to happen. So the unfortunate part is that there's going to be more downward pressure on WotC. And I really need to watch your video, Ed, because if you just said, I get the suspicion that too many people, too many big content creators out there, they're starting to come around to many of the things I've been saying over the past year on this channel about the direction of where the company's heading, and indeed it's in trouble. And I don't mean just Hasbro. I mean WotC as well. But the problem is, even if they change their ways, even if they make all the, midnight pillow talk promises in the world to get themselves out of trouble, it's like the survivor swimming in the ocean, praying to God, if you just get me out of this, I'll never do it again. And then as soon as they're safe, they're doing it again. There's nothing to prevent WotC from doing the same exact thing. Like, even if they behave well and put it back in good stewardship, there is absolutely nothing to prevent them, once they're fat, dumb, and happy again, if they ever get to that point, to make them go back and behave just as badly as they did before. So let me break that down even further. There is nothing that they can do, not a damn thing that they can do within their own power to fix the value of all the reprints that they just drained. And so, yeah, money looks good at the moment, but at the expense of future money, right?
Yeah.
These are the fools that just, borrowed against their 401k, essentially, is how this happens. They just took all the equity out of their home, really, is like the closer thing. So they're screwed down the line.
And I think that it's definitely not changing for at least the foreseeable future, with Ravnica Remastered coming up in a month or so now. And it's a pure reprint set of some of the biggest cards of Magic's history. It's definitely not great for the sustainability of individual card prices or sealed box prices, which for a lot of Magic the Gathering players is a very important part of owning cards.
And to that point, it's not selling well. The pre-orders are not doing well for Ravnica Remastered. And I think that's the first sort of, there's this, nobody listens to Bob except for the few wonderful people here. Thank you so much to everybody here. And hey, Pat, why don't you go ahead and give a thank you to all of the channel subscribers.
We can't do all the subscribers, maybe the channel members,
Okay, I'm sorry, members. My bad. I love the channel subscribers too, but members.
We've got people like Richie Dubs and Cosmic Seeds, coming in, just being awesome folks. I'm actually a channel member too. That way I can do some of those cool emotes and stuff. We got to say big thanks to everybody out there for helping us be, just that little bit more into it when we make content, not just for us, but also, to make sure that we're putting something good out for you guys. So we got these cool moving graphics. Bob's hanging out with, Chris Cox. We're trying to put out the best for it. And thank you everybody for helping us out get there.
So with Ravnica Remastered, I think that's the first product that, well, not really. I think Commander Masters was actually the first product where the public consciousness, the wisdom of the crowd, is starting to feel, whether they've heard Bob talk or other people talk or however it's been taking place, that they don't want to buy the remastered sets for the very simple reason that remasters only contain cards that have already been printed, and the only thing that can happen to those is go down in value.
Yeah.
Because they're reprinted, meaning they had value before the master set. Now the master set came out and they have less value.
Well, and that's the thing, is it's an easy short-term financial decision to make. It's not a good one, but it's an easy one. What do players want? Powerful cards. Okay, are we selling the sets now that have already come out years ago? Like Eldrazi, they're not reselling Eldrazi to anybody. So the only way they can do that is by reprinting them. People are only buying the new stuff from Wizards of the Coast because they're only printing new stuff.
So, well, that's not true that they can't sell the Eldrazi, and they already have Secret Lairs, all kinds of different things. And they put them in Double Masters 2022. So they put Eldrazi out there. The problem with it is they become less sexy and less desirable. Like, if you don't think so, watch what happens to Shocks and see how much do people talk about fucking fetch lands. Do you know how much that was a topic in 2020 and 2021?
Yeah.
Now people.
Well, that was the thing for a long time. Reprint the fetches. And they just got absolutely obliterated. And I think we're going to see the same thing for the Shock lands. I mean, pre-order prices now, I'll go ahead and pull that stuff up. But I was checking out earlier. Shock lands are like $10 pre-order, which is just ridiculous that it's that cheap. Even
they're going to be $2.
Yeah,
I predict they're going to be $2 by the time this is done. So this is the problem with the model that they're creating. That all they can do is drive these prices down into the dirt.
Well, and that's exactly what's occurring.
I agree. $5 Steam vents, the most desirable one, is going to be like $5 at most.
Well,
And
one of the big problems to me with this is that the box prices are still expensive,
yes,
but
and I said that
you're not
before. They
getting
can't
things
ask
that are
these
valuable.
prices
Yeah,
and just submarine, tank,
yeah.
Titanic, all the cards within them.
Well, and I think that a prolonged extension of this problem is that when people see that for a draft experience of Murders at Karlov Manor, it's going to be more expensive than the minimum price to have a draft has gone up in Magic the Gathering come February. So,
I want you to go ahead and click on that, right? I want you to click on it and actually put it in your cart. So this is TCG prices. And then go to where you would check out. So let's see what it is with shipping and taxes. So we see these prices, but then you don't add in everything. Can you estimate, if you click on checkout, it won't automatically buy it, right? Oh, they're giving you free shipping. That's nice.
Yeah, I'm not going to sign in and do it, but yeah,
But we'll say with taxes, we'll say 7% is standard.
Yeah, so $10.
A little more than that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking at about 170.
Yeah.
Right? 170. Think about that, folks.
And you're getting what? 36
That's a
packs?
Standard set.
36 packs, and there are 14 cards per pack now. Wow.
I just and like you said, the cards within them can't maintain the value. And the only thing they could do to make cards of value in there to get close to that $170 box price is to push the power level.
Oh, yeah. And I mean,
Prime, I want to punch you right in your prime.
Look at this. This is a great looking graph. Yeah. Oh, this is also a move of less than $1. So this is a useless amount of information.
I'd say useless graph. But again, I think as people start getting these things, they're gonna the Lost Caverns of Ixalan, putting Mana Crypt and
oh gee,
Cavern of Souls. Just come on, people. The most desirable reprints they have left. And they throw them in a standard set. Mr. Longhair, how are you? It's just absurd. You know what they're doing to push standard sets.
Wow. I gotta say, even with this, I'm sort of surprised that these Cavern of Souls, the neon ink ones, this one's still $400. Although there's one going for $3, I think I saw. The last one was $325. Yeah, I'm actually surprised with this.
It's too small of a. Here's the problem.
It's not a very big data set. This isn't,
and that's the biggest problem, right? You have millions of Magic players and just a handful.
Yeah.
Just a very few people get to actually enjoy the box opening. Right? Because I think that the collector boxes are still like $250-ish.
$222.22
with taxes and shipping. Right?
Yeah.
You're gonna pay $250. And they pulled 5 Cavern of Souls out of one Rudy box. Everything else is pretty much no value. Right?
Yeah, and I mean,
so even at five of them, when they had, I don't know why those versions of them are that expensive, is because what's the difference between those up there and the one down below?
Right.
Not that one. No, the other one down below.
They just look different, and honestly, I think this is probably more.
I think that was the most common one they pulled, that borderless one.
Yeah, I kind of like this.
I think they pulled 4 of those and 1 foil of the regular looking one. So even pulling 5 of those,
and the drop off is fast.
What I'm saying is they pulled 5 of those, right? Okay, that's less than $150, and that's a pretty good box. you still don't even get close to your value back.
Yeah.
And that's pulling the most baller cards there. The neon ink ones may as well not exist.
Like some of these cards just look cool. I'm not.
Excuse me, all. I'm struggling tonight, so I don't know how much longer I'll be able to hang. I'll try my best to stay around till 8. I'm very sorry. Still struggling from COVID. I'm so done with this. But no matter how they look, it's going to feel bad to pay $250 and get half of that value back out of the box.
If that, yeah.
It's just going to feel bad. I don't care what you think about game pieces.
I love Ed's comment here, but Pat,
I saw his comment, and I think he might be 420ing trolling on me.
Yeah, because
go open a box of Stronghold, Ed.
Well, I mean, if they did some cool shit like with Ikoria, where opening the box topper was actually something worthwhile, if they did something like they did with Zendikar Rising, where it was worthwhile when they put in that addition, but they're not. They're just not doing that same enticement to get people to buy full boxes. If that was something that they leaned harder into, that might actually be worth it to do it. But
the problem is they've overdone it already, right?
Yeah.
They've already overdone it. How are they all right, so let me tell you this right now. The only thing that will fix the reprint problem, and when I say reprint problem, is that bring up, I don't know, No Mercy. Let's look at a historical No Mercy. Oh yeah, I got cocks on my back. Oh hey, hi there, Ed's family. Hope you're enjoying the show. Like, the only way you're going to get out of this twist is to suddenly somehow figure out how to reach and double the Magic audience, right? In order to make the card prices double, you have to double the demand. And the only way you do that is by getting new players in, right?
Yeah.
It's the only way to get the glut out of the market.
Economy where people can throw away, a few extra $100 per year, which is just a reflection, I think, right now, is that people don't have extra money to spend. If it comes down to, eat the same type of food that I was eating before, going to the grocery store and paying, that means I'm going to buy 1 or 2 less Magic boxes throughout the year. Shit's getting rough. So
yeah, I do think that macroeconomics will eventually. I don't think it's gotten to it yet because people still need their Magic. It's like drug addicts that have to have their Magic. And I think that eventually, the prices of things and layoffs are coming, folks. Layoffs are definitely coming to more than just Hasbro. There are many other companies out there that are in trouble.
Well, yeah.
And, there's going to be this catch-up period. Like, we're still even in a good financial spot compared to where we were because they increased that. I don't want to call it increasing the minimum wage, but that's functionally what happened when every McDonald's and every fucking place out there that hires a minimum wage worker suddenly went from paying $7 an hour to $15 an hour, which is what's happening. That will arbitrage, right? Those prices will keep ratcheting up and keep adjusting up to where that pay raise meant nothing. It just raised the basement floor price for everything.
Yeah, and I think
it'll still be out of reach for the people at the bottom at $15 an hour, and they'll want $30 an hour. And at some point, money just gets ridiculous. You can't. Like, how many people have already cut back on eating out?
Yeah.
And even at the grocery store, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
$7 for a bottle of creamer? Holy shit.
Yeah.
And that's just what's happening. That's what happens when you raise the bottom price. It doesn't make shit more affordable for the poor people. It just makes everything more expensive for everybody. Right? And then everybody's going to be in this miserable spot. And that's going to happen with the Magic cards. That gap will catch up to where everything that you're buying, everything will start increasing in price to make up that bottom of the pyramid financial gap, right?
And I think, you know,
those
to
people,
compound
that's
with
where
that,
most of the Magic players are, right? And then
yeah.
they're not going up the pyramid. It's just the pyramid moves up.
Well, and to
And
compound with that, you know, as we grow older, our wants and needs definitely change a lot. So
sure.
for me, you know,
You
I
mean you
don't think
become more
I'm as
responsible
interested in,
adults?
you know, getting a whole bunch of boxes of Magic to put on my shelf as I am, you know, maxing out some of my contributions. You know, buying some index would be great right now as the economy is doing poorly. Get some stuff on fire sale. And thank you, DJ, for the invite, but I think I'm still coming down with something, and I don't know if Bob's going to be able to make it, but you know, really do appreciate the invite. It's always been great when we get to chat. So, you know, keep kicking ass, brother. I'm glad to see that you're doing great. You know, I think you DJ just recently hit that 12-12. So, you know, make sure you guys are liking and subbing over there. He's putting out more and more content all the time. So stay tuned over there.
So you know, I think that Magic's in far more trouble than people think, right? Love you too, Sherry Vegas.
Oh,
when you think about it, even just singles themselves, like at some point that has to slow down. People just can't help themselves and they want to buy things. The problem is, what single can you buy at this point that you can guarantee won't get reprint? Reserve list? How confident would you bet your house, your car, that they won't violate that reserve list?
Well, and it's also for me, like, I'm not really one for collectibles in that sense. You know, I don't want to have something that's, you know, oh, this is worth $5,000 and I keep it up on my mantle and I get to display it to everybody. And that doesn't do anything for me. I'm just not that type of enthusiast. So none of that really entices me. If it's something I can see go up in value, that's when, you know, you're doing one of those city builders and you see your resources tick up. I get something out of that. But with Magic, that's just not something that's going to happen. Not anymore. You know, we've definitely hit a turning point
But
in
they did that, right?
the
This is what I
microeconomic
can't.
Magic.
This is what I can't stand from the other big channels that talk about this and how things are, you know, in a financial bad spot. But this is what I'm talking about. They did go up in value slowly because they were responsible with the product. That was a thing until this gentleman and Cynthia Williams decided that they're going to dip into that cookie jar, that they're going to go into their 401k, that they're going to HELOC their home. And for all you people, that's borrowing against accounts you should never borrow against. That's your future. That's spending out of your savings account. And they dipped into that. And they didn't just dip into that, they dove into it head first. Scrooge McDuck diving into their gold coin.
Small island and they put a house on it, and that's where they live now, is in this ever dwindling lake of reprints that's turning into a putrid swamp now. You know, if their sustainability is supposed to be, we'll just reprint old cards, put a new layer of paint on it and see if we can resell it. They have to make some innovation, and just by the addition of power creep, it's just not going to be sustainable.
So that's where the problem is, right? There's nothing that I feel confident.
Nice.
I don't trust anything that they could do at this point that makes me feel like I can buy it. Like if it's any card that's like below $5, I don't care. And I don't mean to sound all fancy pants, pinkies out. I can play Magic at the pace that I want. I'm saying it doesn't bother me to have a $5 card turn into a dollar card if I want to play with it. And we're going to get to that point. Like Lorcana's starting to get to that point where it's okay. Now I'm thinking about building my playset. If you all had any intention to do that before, you know, it's starting to look good, but I'm going to tell you, I'm waiting till spring, till around my birthday, around, you know, April timeframe to actually build my playset of the first chapter of Lorcana. I think that's when the glut of boxes will be out there and have been opened, that
Mm.
singles will be readily available, and I'm going to build a play set of the first set of Lorcana. I think that Magic, you need to take the same approach if that's what you want to do building your collection. I'm not saying bail on Magic. I've said over and over again, I don't think anybody should be selling their Magic stuff. I think that it's a
Coach, I
time of
think that
turmoil, and we need to
you make a good point.
break some
It was a compounding of the issues. Not just that they were reprinting, but the pace and the tempo of it, was just so ridiculous. I think there were points where there was a card in 2 different sets at the same time that was actively in distribution, and something of like a rare mythic. And we need these breaks, these breather periods, and it's just pretty easy to see that there's a maximum amount of people that are going to be buying into Magic the Gathering, and Wizards of the Coast just kind of needs to realize that there's a threshold to what their sales can be.
I agree. And like I said, where they need to be investing their money, in all honesty, like I said, their way out of this, or their way to make it look better, is to somehow draw in a much larger audience. I think one of the ways that they can do that, and I think it was fantastically successful, was Arcane on Netflix, right? Appealing to a younger generation in a what do you call that style? I don't know if that's considered anime or what.
Yeah, CG. Yeah.
But it was very good. It was a very good show. And I think that Magic has a solid enough lore base to do something like that. And they should hire not this silly Dungeons and Dragons horse shit that was a drain on them. I think that they could do something like that Arcane did. League of Legends. How much did anybody really know about the lore before Arcane came out? I didn't.
Well, and
I knew it was a thing and these are characters, point. But it was good and it drew me in. And Magic needs to do something like that. They need to get their IP in front of more people, right? To get more people into the IP to potentially pull them in, right? Not just drain off, Lord of the Rings people who are going to lose allure when they realize, oh, this was the one Lord of the Rings set and they're not going to make any more Lord of the Rings sets. Like if they got in for Lord of the Rings, it's a double-edged sword or Doctor Who or Transformers or anything else. They don't perpetually get to keep making sets for these IPs. It's a limited run. They'll get in some new players, but all of them that came over for these,
Universes Beyond,
they won't stay around.
Yeah, and there's a limit to amount of like what if series from Marvels. You can't keep doing the Guardians of the Galaxy and just keep throwing different people together. You need a sort of baseline of what a Magic the Gathering set is. And if none of the cards look the same set after set after set, there's something to be said about, showcases and innovative art styles, but they have to stay at least somewhat baseline to be familiar. And by doing all these universes beyond, not just the style of the art, but the art and the card itself, your frames, your borders, your texting is just sometimes so wild that it's too unfamiliar to be a Magic the Gathering card, and to just draw in a different audience for sales.
I'll be honest, I hope Lorcana doesn't do that. I love this look. I love the fact that you can look at this thing. Oh, it's a Lorcana card. Even if you saw it from across the room, you'd know it's a Lorcana card, right?
Yeah.
They have this familiar bordering and look to them. The only one that's different are the enchanted foils, and God, I hope they don't make more different flavors. Like, it's fine to stick with a standardized look so it's recognizable as a brand.
Yeah. Well, and to add to that, there's also the Disney 100 collectors cards. There are, I believe, 6 of those that have a very different art style on those. And I think
are you talking about the enchanted foil? Like, they look like enchanted foils to me.
It's just the actual art style itself. It's far less designed, much more basic, not such a
Agreed, coach.
bright, flashy palette. And I
Well, I
think
mean,
that if
there's
they
so many different pieces and parts that WotC needs to tune, right? It's so many of these things I think would be great, right? And I thought they were wonderful, but instead of doing them in a reserved fashion, just like Neon Ink, I think could have been great. But they did so many other different things. People don't even know what to look at and say, oh, well, that's going to be the desirable thing, because people want to have desirable things. That's why things have value. And it's so complicated. If somebody asked me, hey, I want to collect magic, where do I begin? I would say in Lorcana. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know what to collect at this point. Even reserve list, I'm very hesitant because I feel like they're going to tap that keg at some point. And when they do, look out to all those reserve list lovers.
Well, I think for me that, not financial advice for anybody, just my look into Magic right now is I think that I'll be far less of a collector and just switch over mostly to being a pure player in how I approach the game. If
And I keep
I'm
saying that when you do that, you run into turning it into Hero Realms. You
well,
can't
I
sell
mean,
boxes at $170, $200 when they're no longer collectible in any fashion.
no, I mean, is that I'm not going to be opening boxes, hunting down rares and mythics. If I'm going to open a box of Magic, it's going to be specifically because I'm drafting with people.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna,
you're not gonna pay $170 for that experience anymore.
I
You look at it
mean,
and go, nope.
yeah. I wouldn't even be paying the $170 because I'd be splitting it amongst, 4 people,
Okay,
So
I get
even
it,
at
but you're
that,
not gonna pay whatever that is.
yeah, including pizza and sodas, I'm not paying $50 to go for a draft. It's just not going to be a great time. Whereas for, Lorcana, I'm going to be looking at practically the same price. And at least in that sense, I'm going to get something out of the collecting because there is a binder to build. There are new sets coming out. There's mechanics I want to indulge into as, resist, and these new location cards are coming out. That stuff's interesting to me more so than discover in the recent Magic set a more broken version of Cascade. Like that's just not what I need out of Magic right now. I
How
don't
many
want
people think that those numbered that serialized cards are going to be the savior for Magic? How many people honestly believe that? And do we have anybody in the audience that feels like with the way that they're implementing serialized cards, could it have been great if they had stuck with the rarity of like does anybody remember the first serialized card?
No, was it that backwards Viscera Seer? Is that
Yes.
the one?
Viscera Seer, right? And if they had kept it at that very, very rare occasion that they would do that. And I think if it had been semi-random, and I don't mean semi-random, but like unannounced that, hey, oh shit, there's a serialized card in this set,
Well, and
right?
that's how
And you
they
don't know
did it.
what
Was
set's
it
going to have
that was
that.
in a secret lair, I think.
Yes, it was. It was this. It was the special card in the secret lair. I
And
think
if
it was
I think you're right.
the one with Saturday morning cartoons and all
Mm.
that.
I think
Or
that
Mark
you make a
Poole.
good point. If they did it sporadically and just randomly in products, okay, cool. All of the commander decks just secretly have a chance for
No,
serialized
I'm
versions.
saying
Yeah.
doesn't like random.
Yeah.
Totally random. Could be anytime, any product,
Mm.
collector, secret lair. And that's the only place you find serialized cards. And they should be like ultra small, like 1 out of 100. That's the way you do serialized to make them truly desirable collector pieces that people really seek
Well,
and
and I
hunt.
think, a reflection of that idea is like Jake and Joel's foil quest. they're hunting down some very rare cards, and that's
Sure.
what makes it a worthwhile quest,
That's why
a
people keep coming
cardboard
back to it.
odyssey, as it were.
And that's why people keep tuning in, and that's why people keep coming back. Yeah, Dual Brain, you and I have had, several conversations about this idea of a real treasure hunt, right? To make it truly, that shouldn't affect the game pieces, right? But it adds a collector aspect. But by making everything serialized, every set having them or every other set having them, you kill the desirability of wanting to have a serialized card. Right? It just seems so random what they're doing with it.
Yeah. No, I think, Coach, you make a good point. There's something to be said about familiarity breeding a little bit of discontentment.
I don't think so, Coach. In all honesty, I can't look at a person going in and saying, yeah, $170, you can justify that expense on playing Magic. They're like, we've been talking about value for your entertainment value, because if all these are entertainment game pieces and they're no longer collectible, and I really don't think they are, then you can't justify the cost. If they had cut the cost in half and reprinted everything like they did, I think this would have been fantastic. If boxes were $50 a piece, bravo, way to go, Hasbro, get it out there. Really get the game out there and get people buying in bulk. Really get the game pieces going. And $50, I think, is an affordable kind of price point. It would still be expensive when you go into a game store and look at a fucking board game and go, $50. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's an expensive game of Monopoly. But one box of Magic is over 3 times that price for one box.
And it's, for the most part, a one-time consumable item.
Yes.
Realistically, there's maybe, out of an entire box of draft boosters, right, you're getting maybe 20 cards that you want to keep, and I think that that's a reasonably fair estimate out of an entire draft box, 20 cards that you're actually into, that
but they're
you
not
want
even
out.
pushing the draft format. They're actually pushing away from it. Right? They're trying to push the Pioneer format, all these constructed formats.
I think they're just trying to push product. I don't even
think that doesn't push product. Draft pushes more product.
No, I just mean that they're just trying to push more items out. They're just trying to have more things for people to buy. They're just throwing more rods into the water.
Look, I honestly don't think they know what the fuck they're doing. Like, even Rudy is finally saying they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I don't know anybody that would say, yeah, these people are steering this ship. Peace, DJ. Like,
have a good night, dude. I think he's going
I would
to
love
start
to see
up
people
live stream.
opening it, like getting product and being excited about it. I would absolutely love to see that. But imagine telling your friend to go buy a box at today's prices now. It's $170 that we just showed. That's the standard price for a standard box, folks.
Yeah.
Going to be in that $150 to $170 to $200 range. That's where it's going to settle. You really going to tell one of your friends it's brand new, that's their first experience getting into Magic, and that's what you're going to draft with? Fuck off. No. Yeah. That's way too expensive.
Yeah, I mean,
for something that has no value for the
game, you're getting hours and hours of fun.
Yeah, what kid can afford like a few even a draft at the newer prices? I agree, Dual Brain. I wouldn't do it to my friend. I wouldn't. And this is what I'm saying.
I'd rather tell a friend to, get Baldur's Gate 3 so we can play together. At least that way I know they're going to get their, between 40 and 400 hours of gameplay out of it for their $50 or whatever.
Or Harry Potter, whatever that the Hogwarts thing was,
Oh yeah, Hogwarts Legacy,
or $13 and come play some Diablo 2 Resurrected with me, or for free, go play Path of Exile.
Yeah, or
there's so much more value at this point in not doing cardboard, right? And if you're gonna do cardboard, I'm telling you right now, make playing cards. Go there, print out the cards instead of paying uber amounts. Unless you really think you're going to be a tournament player.
Right.
How many people out there are real tournament players?
It's a rare breed, and it's also difficult, more so than ever, to travel's harder and harder nowadays, more expensive than ever.
No, I agree, Coach, and I'll be honest with you. The only way that I approach Magic anymore, at all, period, Commander Raids. I feel value out of that. That's the only thing that would drive, and it's not just because it's my format. It's enjoyable. It's something that I don't feel any salt whatsoever. I got packs. I can't even bring myself to open boxes at this point. Not even Dominaria Remastered. And I bought them cheap. Not $88 cheap.
Yeah.
But $114.
Yeah, for me, it's hanging out at, the store, jamming Commander games with some of my friends. That's definitely more so the way I play Magic now at this point, doing Commander raids or something. But it's been a long time since I've participated in a real tournament-like structure.
I'm sorry. Most people out there, are not going to be in a tournament ever. So it doesn't matter if you use proxies. Right now, proxy's the way to go. Here's my advice. Don't buy new Magic. Don't sell your current Magic. And if you want any new cards, proxy them. That's the formula, I think, to the enjoyable interaction with Magic at this point until things settle. I'm telling you, we have not reached the bottom. There is a still very long way to fall for Magic.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Like these people that are preaching, we're turning a corner. We're at the bottom. Saying it right now. Gaming Bob saying, not even close, folks. Not even close. Even firing
hey guys,
people.
Just as a heads up, I'm going to be off next week. I'm traveling to see my family for the holidays, so I won't be around for next weekend's episode.
And me either. I'm going out to dinner. Sorry. I'm going out to fancy dinner for the first time since COVID started.
So we might end up just doing a pre-recorded video. Otherwise,
I might even open a box, folks.
Yeah, who knows?
I might have Pat react to a Lorcana box opening. Gaming Bob opening a box. So we'll try to organize something. I'm off all week, but yeah, you have to listen to Horse Bob SquarePants here with my stupid voice. But if I don't say it, I hope all of you really get to enjoy interacting with some cardboard over the holidays here. Lorcana finally getting into the more affordable territory. I highly recommend grabbing, like, can you bring up oh god damn it, what's it called? TCG Player. I think you can buy the new starter decks, a whole case of them. So you can give some out to friends, and you have starter decks that are at the same relative power. Now there's only 2 to choose from. I think the starter decks are an excellent place to start. But I think you can get a whole case of them for like under $100. Right there. Right at $100. I'm a liar. But you can get a whole case of them. You can give them out to friends and not feel too guilty. At 8 packs, right? You're talking like what? That's like $13 a piece ish, somewhere around there. That's not too terrible.
No, that's pretty solid, actually. Yeah.
Now there's only 2, so you get duplicates of you have 4 of each deck. But give them out. So who cares? Shuffle them up, play with your friends. $13, very enjoyable experience. And if you want to, you can supplement with other boxes. But I'm just saying that at a minimum, not really the worst $100 investment you'll ever make. And you can play with friends, family. Those will be a little more expensive. There's 3 different types there.
And it's 12 decks. So you're actually getting 4 more decks too. So that's
and they're still at that $12, $13 price.
Yeah, that's very fair. Yeah. So thank you everybody for joining us this evening. Until the next time we get to see you, you've been incredible. We've been Cardboard Odysseys, and we just wish you the very best holiday season. Take care of yourselves and make sure to let your family know how much you love them. And hey, guys,
above all, be safe.
I want to let you know we love you too.
And we'll see you when we see you out there.
Bye, all.